Hello, good morning friends. How are you all? Hope you are all keeping fine under the lockdown. So please take care, don't go around roaming and protect yourself and stay safe at home. Okay? And learn the lessons nicely, study nicely and make use of the time in a very proper way. So today let us come to a new topic. This is about the role of a public prosecutor. The last class we learned about the role of a police in investigating a crime. So today let us see what is the role of a public prosecutor. Who is public prosecutor? The lawyer who is trying to prove the crime. One who is accused. The lawyer who is trying to prove that the accused person is guilty. That is his duty. Let us see. So a criminal offence is regarded as a public wrong. So what is meant by this is that it is considered to have been committed not only against the affected victims but against the society as a whole. So when a person is accused or when a person is arrested for committing an offence, for example, let's take the case of Shanti. So Shanti has been accused. Just imagine that she has taken the gold chain. So it is not a crime against Mr. and Mrs. Shinde alone, but it is a crime against the entire society. The law is broken and everybody is affected. Therefore, the public prosecutor, the lawyer who will stand for Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, he is a public prosecutor and he will try to prove that Shanti has taken the gold chain. Shanti is a thief. That is his role, because it is a crime against the society as well. Not only against just one person, but it is a crime against society. Any law that is broken, it becomes an offense against the entire society. All the people of the society is affected. And do you remember the case of the dowry death of Sudha that we read about in the previous chapter? Last lesson we learned about how a woman was poured kerosene and burned to death because of dowry, asking the husband and his mother, they were asking for more dowry and they killed her at the end. The case against accused Lakshman and his family was presented by the state. So Lakshman and his mother killed the woman called Sudha, and it is not a crime against Sudha alone, but it is a crime against the society, the crime against the state. And therefore, the case was called State versus Lakshman Kumar and others. So, Lakshman Kumar is the accused and they are committing a crime against the state. That means they are committing or breaking the law of the state not to kill. And similarly, the above case has been called State versus Shanti Hebron and not Mrs. Shinde and Shanti Hebron. So one who has done wrong is fighting against the state. One who has done wrong in the one side, another side, for the affected person, the state stands. So every case or every crime that is committed against another person, it is same as committing crime against the state. So when it is reported in the affidavit or in the case diary, they will write state versus, if it is in Delhi, they say Delhi versus Sudha, is it not? Or they will say in the case of the other day we said about Delhi versus Lakshman Kumar, not Sudha. Sudha is standing for state, state is standing for Sudha, and versus Lakshman Kumar. Or in the other case, what we learned in the other class, that Shanti has stolen the gold. There she is accused. Therefore, other person is affected person. Mr. and Mrs. Shinde is affected. Therefore, state is standing by them. State is trying to defend them because their goal is lost. Whether it is true or not, that is the case given to the police station. Therefore, it is a duty of the government to protect the person who is affected. Therefore, government, the public prosecutor is standing by to protect Mr. and Mrs. Shinde. So that is the duty of this public prosecutor, to support the affected person, the person who is suffering. So in court, it is public prosecutor who represents the interests of the state. So the affected person is supported by the state, and the public prosecutor, the lawyer's name is called public prosecutor, one who is standing for the affected person. He is called public prosecutor, and he is representing the state. The state means the government. The role of the prosecutor begins once the police has conducted the investigation and filed the charge sheet in the court. So yesterday we said that what is the role of the police? Police has to file an FIR and make an inquiry and file a charge sheet and submit the person in the court within 24 hours. So with that, the case is reaching the court, and then the public prosecutor and the defense lawyer, they will start their work arguing in the court, trying to say their party is not guilty, their party has not done any wrong. So both lawyers will try to argue in the court, try to win that their argument is correct and the other person is wrong. So he or she has no role to play in the investigation. The prosecutor must conduct the prosecution on behalf of the state. And as an officer of the court, it is his or her duty to act impartially and present the full and material facts, witnesses and evidence before the court to enable the court to decide the case. So the public prosecutor is standing for the state to defend the rights of the people, and therefore he has to act impartially. He should not show any partiality. He should not receive money from the other party and say, I will support you. No, that is not allowed. He should be very impartial and try to work for the state, try to bring justice to the affected person. That is the duty of this prosecutor. So it is in his court he will be arguing for the affected person. So in the previous class we learned about Santi and Mrs. Shinde. So the advocate that was supporting Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, that is the public prosecutor, and he was trying to prove that my party, that is Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, what they are saying is correct. Santi is guilty, she has stolen. So he was trying to trying to prove that his party, what they say is correct and Sandy is the thief. That is what they were trying to prove. So that is the role of the public prosecutor. Now let us see the role of judge. What is the role of judge in proving a case? The role of the judge. Let's see what does the judge do in order to make the judgment clear, the process in the court, what is the role of a judge. So the judge is like an umpire in a game and conducts the trial impartially and in an open court. So the game when we play, there is an umpire or referee. So two teams will be playing and the referee will make the judgment whether the ball is in or out, whether there is foul or no foul. So it is something similar in the court. Two parties are playing, two lawyers. One is prosecutor, another one is defense lawyer. So both are trying to bring lot of argument, trying to prove that what they are saying is correct. And at the end, listening to both teams, both lawyers, the judge will make the final verdict, final judgment. He will say who is correct and who is wrong. And the judge hears all the witnesses and any other evidence presented by the prosecution and the defense. The judge decides whether the accused person is guilty or innocent on the basis of the evidence presented and in accordance with the law. So, the judge decides whether the accused person is guilty or innocent on the basis of the evidence presented and in accordance with the law. So, he will listen to the both lawyers, what are the evidences that they are showing, what are the witnesses that they are bringing, what is the proof that they are bringing. After hearing all these things, he will make the judgment. Okay, this person is guilty and according to this law, he has broken this law and he should get such and such punishment. And if he cannot prove, then he will say this person has not found guilty, so he can go free. In the case of Shanti, it was so. She was set free because there was no evidence that she has stolen the ring or the chain. Then, if the accused is convicted, if the accused is convicted, then the judgment pronounces the sentence. The judge pronounces the sentence. And he may send the person to jail or impose a fine or both, depending on what the law prescribes. So once the advocate is able to prove that this person is guilty, he has committed the crime, then judge will say yes, he is found guilty. There is enough evidence, enough proof is there to believe that he has committed the crime. Then judge will check the law and say, those who break this law, what is the punishment? Sometime it may be he should be sent in the jail for 5 years or 10 years according to the law. It is mentioned in the law. So he will choose. He has to go to the jail for this many years. Or if it is a small crime, he may have to pay a fine. After paying this much fine, you can go home. Or if it is a serious crime, then he will say you have to pay a fine also and you have to spend in the jail also. So both also can get. So everything is written in the law, in the criminal code, and there it is written for breaking this law or how much is the punishment, what is the punishment. So accordingly the judge will give the verdict. So he cannot show any partiality, he cannot show any uninterest. He has to be impartial and make the judgment correct, whether the person is his family member or not, his relative or his friend or not. He cannot look at that. He has to make proper judgment, impartial judgment, so that the person who is guilty can get the maximum punishment. That should be the fulfilling of the demand of the law. Now let's see what is a fair trial. So that is the role of the judge. Now let's see what is fair trial. Fair trial. Let us for a moment imagine what might have happened if the judge decided to try Shanti's case very differently. So we saw how the case was going on in the court in the case of Shanti, when Mr. and Mrs. Shinde accused her of stealing their gold chain. So what if the court did not give a copy of the charge sheet and statements of witness to Shanti? So when we file an FIR in the court, or when we make a charge sheet in the court, a copy is to be given to Shanti. Suppose in the case of Shanti, if it was not given, then what will happen? They will say, what if he held the trial in a secret location where neither Shanti nor Sushil were present? Suppose if judge is sitting at home, nobody is there nearby, Shanti cannot hear what judge is saying. So if he is making a judgment in a secret room, what would have been the situation? What if he did not give Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, enough time to question the witness or the prosecution, such as Mr. Shinde, and instead had already decided that Shanti was guilty? So judge, if he was to decide, no need to have much argument and all here. I know that Shanti is guilty. I know she has stolen the gold chain. If the judge is already deciding like that, then what would have been the situation? They would not have been justice, and Shanti would have been put in the jail without committing the crime, and so on. So many problems would have been there. And if this had happened, then it would be a case of an unfair trial. So if judge were to do in that way, then we can say the judgment is very unfair. There was no fairness. There was no justice done. And this is because of a trial to be fair, several different procedures have to be observed. So, if you want to say a trial has to be fair, then what do we have to do? There should be several procedures. Let us see what are they. So, Article 21 of the Indian Constitution that guarantees the right to life states that a person's life or liberty can be taken away only by following a reasonable and just legal procedure. So we can underline what does Article 21 says about right to life. So it says a person's life or liberty can be taken away only by following a reasonable and just legal procedure. So take away a person's life means put him to death. Tell that you are given capital punishment, you will be hanged to death. That is taking away the life of a person. Or taking away his freedom. Freedom means he will be sent to jail, he will be put in jail. So he has no freedom there. So if a person's life is to be taken away, that means if a person is to be given a capital punishment, or if a person is to be put in jail, then what do we have to do? It has to be followed by a reasonable and just legal procedure. So there should be a reasonable procedure. There should be a nice procedure in the court. Both parties should be able to give the judgment, argument, and the accused should also be there to hear all the procedures and see the procedures, and so then only they can be punished. A fair trial ensures that Article 21 of the Constitution is upheld. So, if a judge is deciding we will not have a fair trial, I know what to do, I will do what I like, then the Article 21 is violated and that judge can be punished. And let us now return to Shanti's case as described in the storyboard and identify the essential elements of a free trial. So let us see, in the case of Shanti, was there a free trial? Did she receive justice? Let us see. Firstly, Shanti was given a copy of the charge sheet and all other evidence that the prosecution presented against her. So in the first case, we said she should be informed, she should be given a copy of the charge sheet, and that was given. So the first part was fair. And Shanti was charged with the offense of theft. Theft means stealing. So her crime was that she stole, stealing, and that was defined as a crime in the law. So according to the law, taking the other's property is a crime. And the trial was held in an open court in public view. So another thing that it should be done in public, in front of others. So in the case of Shanti, that was done. It was done publicly. Other people were also allowed to sit in the court and witness how the argument was going on. So it was a fair trial, an open court trial. And her brother Sushil could attend the court hearings. The trial was held in the presence of the accused, and Shanti was defended by lawyer. And Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, was given an opportunity to cross-examine all the prosecution witnesses. Advocate Roy was given an opportunity to present witnesses in Shanti's defense. So in the case of Shanti, we can say there was a fair trial because all the privileges were given to her. First of all, she was given a copy of the charge sheet. Then the trial was held in an open court. Then the trial was held in the presence of the accused. So Shanti also was allowed to sit there and listen to the argument. And she was given a lawyer, Miss Roy, to defend her cause. Then she was given, Shanti's advocate was given the permission to cross-examine the other witnesses, other prosecution witnesses. So Mr. Shinde, they were all questioned by Mr. Roy, and at the end the truth came out. Then Shanti was given a copy of the charge sheet, and all the privileges were given to her. First of all, she was given a copy of the charge sheet. Then the trial was held in an open court in public view. So another thing that it should be done in public, in front of others. So in the case of Shanti, that was done. It was a fair trial. And let us now return to Shanti's case as described in the storyboard and identify the essential elements of a free trial. So let us see, in the case of Shanti, was there a free trial? Did she receive justice? Let us see. Firstly, Shanti was given a copy of the charge sheet and all other evidence that the prosecution presented against her. So in the first case, we said she should be informed, she should be given a copy of the charge sheet, and that was given. So according to the law, taking the other's property is a crime in the law. So Advocate Roy was given an opportunity to present witness in Shanti's defense. So, Advocate Roy also was given an opportunity to bring her own witness and to speak. That is how police officer Sarma came there to explain the situation, that he has already busted the gang of a thief and the lost gold chain is recovered from them, and so that way the truth came out. Although the police filed a case of theft against Shanti, the judge assumed her to be innocent. So the case was filed saying Shanti is a thief. But after hearing this argument of Miss Roy, advocate, the defense lawyer, judge was able to conclude, yes, she has not stolen. The 10,000 rupees that she has is because of her hard work. So it is not a stolen thing. The judge was able to make a correct judgment. And it was the responsibility of the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Shanti was guilty. In this case, the prosecution failed to do so. So, the prosecution and the complainant, that is Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, they could only say that Shanti's box had 10,000 rupees. There was no other evidence. So, they could not prove that she has stolen. And she was working there for 3 years, therefore having 10,000 rupees is not something wrong, because she is saving every month from her salary little by little, and that way they gathered 10,000 rupees. And it is significant that the judge decided the matter only on the basis of the evidence before the court. The judge did not jump to the conclusion that Shanti was a thief just because she was a poor maid servant. Instead, the judge remained impartial, and since the evidence showed that some young men and not Shanti was a thief, he set Shanti free. So, the judge did not straightway say, by looking at you I can understand you are a thief, you are a poor person, so therefore you must have stolen. All those things he did not say. So, he waited for both lawyers to present the cases and listen nicely to their argument. At the end, judge understood she is not a thief. And when the police also said that there was a group of youngsters who was stealing, going around, and the gold chain is found from their company, from their pocket, and therefore it is very clear to the judge that Shanti is not the thief. And in Shanti's case, justice was finally done to her because she was given a fair trial. So at the end, judge said, you can go free, you are not guilty, you have not stolen. So there was a fair trial. That's why Shanti was able to get that freedom back, and she was acquitted, she was set free, and she was no more considered as a thief. So that was because there was a fair trial. Suppose this fair trial was not there, judge will be making a conclusion, yes, I know you are a thief and you are punished, you have to stay in the jail for 10 years. So then there is no fairness. But in the case of Shanti, there was a fair trial. Because of that, she was set free. The constitution and the law both state that all of the persons that we have discussed in this chapter should carry out their roles in a proper manner. What this means is that they all need to work to ensure that every citizen, irrespective of their class, caste, gender, religious and ideological backgrounds, gets a fair trial when accused. So, our constitution says that all those who are accused, they should be given a chance to have fair trial. Till the judge says that you are guilty, they should not be considered as a guilty person. They are only accused. Anybody can accuse anybody. So here in the case of Shanti was accused, but Shanti was not a thief. The same way, all those who are accused, they should be given a fair trial to prove whether they are innocent or not. And at the end, judge will say whether this person is really guilty or not. And the rule of law which says that everyone is equal before the law would not make much sense if every citizen were not guaranteed a fair trial by constitution. So every person in the country, whether they are high class or low class, whether they are man or woman, or whether they are poor or rich, or whether they belong to one religion or another religion, does not matter. Everybody should get a fair trial. Otherwise, we cannot say that they are equal. So if everybody is equal before the law, then they should be given a fair trial to prove their innocence. So till the judge says you are guilty, they should be considered as innocent. Now we can see a little bit is given in the column. All of the clauses written in bold on page 74 are crucial to a fair trial. Write in your own words what you understand of the following clauses based on the above description of Shanti's case. So in this lesson or in this paragraph you will find some words are given in bold letters, thick letters. So all those terms are very important. They are part and parcel of this fair trial. So try to understand and try to explain in your own words. For example, open court, basis of evidence, cross-examination of prosecution witnesses. Then discuss in the class what might have happened in Shanti's case if the following procedures had not been observed. If she were not defended by a lawyer, if the court had not assumed her to be innocent, and so what would have happened? Suppose there was no fair trial. If she were not defended by a lawyer, suppose the advocate Roy was not helping her, what would have happened to her? Then other prosecution lawyer would have proved that she is guilty and so on. Or if the court had not assumed her to be innocent, if the court could not realize that she is innocent, then what would have happened? Then she would have gone to jail and unnecessarily she would have undergone the punishment and so on. So lucky there was a fair trial and the judge made the correct judgment and Shanti was set free. So that is the end of this lesson. It is how in our country the law takes its place, how the law punishes the guilty and set free those who are not guilty and so on. So let us see few exercises are there. So here the people who are involved in the criminal system is police, public prosecutor, defense lawyer and judge. And their functions are also given here but not in the order. So you have to find out which is the correct order. So let us do that exercise. First we will see police. What are the roles of the police? We said in the beginning of this lesson. So record the statement of witnesses. That is the duty of the police. When a crime has taken place, he has to go and record the witnesses' statements. Then take photographs of burned homes. Suppose somebody has burned a house, then police has to take the photo of that as a evidence. That is also duty of the police. Then record the evidence. Recording or writing down what are the things they saw, what are the things they heard from other people and so on. Then arrest the fiesta fans. Then if anybody is creating violence and so, arrest them. Then what else? So that is then one more is get the assaulted woman medically examined. Suppose a woman is assaulted, attacked by others, then the police has to take them to the hospital and tell the doctor to check up and find out what are her problems, what are the injuries that she got, all that. The police and the doctor will examine her and give a report. So these are the duties of the police and they have to do so much. Then let's see what is the duty of the public prosecutor. What is the duty of the public prosecutor? So public prosecutor also cross-examine the witness. They will cross-examine the witness. Then what else? Then examine the witness in the court. They also will examine the witness and cross-examine. So these are the duty of the public prosecutor. Then defense lawyer. What is the duty of the defense lawyer? So defense lawyer also will have to cross-examine the witnesses and examine the witness in the court, and also the last one, meet the accused persons. So first of all, the defense lawyer will meet the accused person and find out what is the reality, what happened, why that person is arrested, and so on. We'll try to find out the reality. Then fourth person is judge. What is a judge? So the judge will have to hear the witnesses. What are the witnesses saying? He will listen to them. Then write the judgment. He will have to write down the judgment after hearing all this. Then decide for how many years he accused will be put in jail. So what punishment should be given to him? How many years he has to be in the jail? Then he has to pass the judgment. That also is duty, passing the judgment. Then conduct a fair trial. So that is also duty of the judge, conducting the fair trial. So these are not given in order. So it is your duty. Find out which is the first action to be done by the police, what is the second action, third action, fourth action. Or the same way, public prosecutor. We saw there are 2-3 actions are there. Which one is to be first, which one is second. So according to the order you arrange. Okay. Now this book, this lesson has no exercise, no other exercises. Only this is only one. So you do it nicely, write down in your book and learn. Then only you will understand the system. Okay. So thank you for listening. In the next class we will learn the lesson number 7. So meet you in the next class. Okay. Bye.